Welcome to the AI Tools Conversation podcast. This is where we talk about AI the way real people actually use it. No jargon, no tech talk, just real conversations about tools that actually work. Every episode, one tool, one workflow, one mindset shift. Plain and simple. If you're a freelancer or founder trying to keep up, you're in the right place. Let's get into it.
Imagine this. It's 11 o'clock at night. You have a 200-page textbook, a 90-minute lecture transcript, and like 3 incredibly dense, jargon-filled research papers staring you down.
Oh, the classic nightmare.
Right, and they are all due to be studied, understood, and somehow memorized by tomorrow morning.
Yeah, your heart rate probably just spikes listening to that.
Exactly. I mean, if you are a student staring down midterms or, a freelancer trying to understand a massive new client's completely messy onboarding documents, or really anyone who deals with daily information overload.
Which is pretty much everyone these days.
Right. Most of us in that situation just panic. We skim the headers, maybe read the first sentence of a few paragraphs, and basically just hope for the best.
Yeah, you're just doing damage control at that point.
Completely. So today's deep dive is about a tool designed specifically for that 11 p.m. panic attack. We're looking at the source materials you uploaded regarding a free AI from Google called NotebookLM. And our mission today is to figure out how it actually helps you learn faster and manage this overwhelming sea of information.
Yeah, and it's so relevant because it's the universal bottleneck, right, of the modern worker and student.
Oh, 100%.
We have unlimited access to content, but our cognitive bandwidth for actual comprehension just hasn't changed.
We still only have the same human brain.
Exactly. And what makes the documentation you shared so compelling is that this specific technology approaches artificial intelligence from a completely different architectural angle.
Okay, let's unpack this because, we've all interacted with the big AI chatbots by now, right?
Sure, yeah.
The ones that can write a passable essay on the French Revolution or answer random trivia questions in 5 seconds.
The party trick AIs, basically.
Right. But the sources you provided emphasize repeatedly that this tool is fundamentally different. So if it's just another AI, how does it actually cure the panic of info overload without just, giving you a generic robotic summary that you can't really trust?
Well, to understand the solution, we kind of have to look at the mechanics of the problem.
Okay.
So, a standard large language model is built to guess the next most logical word based on an immense training data set.
Which is essentially the entire internet.
Exactly. It has all that data baked into its neural network. But NotebookLM utilizes a totally different mechanism. It essentially operates with induced amnesia.
Wait, amnesia? What do you mean?
I mean, it literally cannot see the internet.
Yeah.
It only processes the text that you place directly into its immediate field of vision.
Oh.
Wow. So if you don't provide the information, it does not have the answers.
Which feels entirely counterintuitive to how we've been taught to use AI so far.
It really is.
Because we are so used to treating these systems as omniscient oracles. Ask it anything and it knows.
Right, but relying on an all-knowing oracle is dangerous when you're doing serious research.
Because they hallucinate.
Exactly. Those models are prone to hallucinating facts when they try to fill in the gaps of their knowledge. They want to please you, so they just make things up.
So NotebookLM just doesn't do that.
Well, what's fascinating here is the defining phrase used throughout the engineering documentation. They call it source-grounded.
Source-grounded, okay.
Yeah, and this is the core restriction that actually serves as its greatest superpower. Instead of pulling responses from the chaotic, unverified ocean of the web, NotebookLM operates in a closed, verifiable universe.
Okay, I think got it.
Its entire reality shrinks to the borders of the PDFs, Google Docs, YouTube transcripts, audio files, or web pages that you specifically upload into a single project space.
The sources use an analogy that really clarified this for me.
Oh, the reading partner one.
Yeah. Think of a standard AI as a very well-read friend who has consumed every book in the world.
Right.
They are fantastic at a dinner party, but they are terrible for studying because they constantly mix up facts or blend 2 different theories together or, misquote an author just to sound smart.
They're a little too confident.
Exactly. But NotebookLM is like a brilliant reading partner who has only read the exact same stack of books you have sitting on your desk.
That's a great way to put it.
And not only have they read them, but they can point directly to the page and paragraph they're referencing.
Yeah, and that citation mechanism changes the fundamental relationship between the user and the AI.
How so?
Well, consider the medical student example detailed in our sources. She's studying for this critical cardiovascular exam.
High stakes stuff.
Very high stakes. So she uploads her own personal handwritten lecture notes alongside 3 highly complex, peer-reviewed medical journal articles.
Okay.
And then she asks the tool a highly specific question. She types, "What are the key physiological differences between type 1 and type 2 diabetes, according to my sources?"
And because of the amnesia we talked about, it doesn't just spit out a generic WebMD summary that might conflict with her professor's specific teachings.
Exactly. Better yet, it provides receipts.
I love that. Receipts.
It synthesizes the answer directly from her uploads, and then appends these tiny citation numbers to every single claim.
Oh, so you can actually verify it.
Right. When she clicks a number, it pulls up the exact paragraph from the original document that the answer came from.
That's incredible.
The AI is no longer a black box of mysterious knowledge,
Yeah.
It becomes a transparent search and reasoning engine. She doesn't have to trust it blindly because the verification takes a fraction of a second.
Okay, wait. So if I'm that medical student and just for fun or maybe out of distraction, I ask it about a historical event.
Like what?
Like, tell me about the building of the Egyptian pyramids. And that obviously isn't anywhere in my cardiovascular notes.
Yeah.
What happens? Does it break?
No, it doesn't break. It just politely informs you that the information is not contained within your uploaded sources.
It just flat out refuses.
It refuses to invent an answer or pull from outside knowledge. It prioritizes accuracy over confidence.
Which is huge.
It's a massive paradigm shift. For anyone doing serious analytical work, whether you're a medical student or a freelance journalist, fact-checking a massive 300-page corporate financial report.
Because you aren't spending half your time double-checking the AI to see if it just hallucinated a statistic.
Exactly. You can actually trust the baseline.
Okay, that accuracy is incredible. But if we're being honest, simply having an accurate search tool doesn't completely solve the human problem of being too exhausted to read.
Oh, for sure. The 11 p.m. panic is still real.
Right. Which brings us to the next logical hurdle. How do you get that perfectly customized, perfectly grounded information out of the system in a format that actually fits into a busy, overwhelmed life?
And this is where we transition from text analysis into audio generation.
Yes, the feature that broke the internet.
The documentation highlights a feature called Audio Overview, which has fundamentally changed how users interact with their own documents.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because we aren't just talking about a robotic text-to-speech voice monotonously reading a textbook chapter out loud.
No, not at all.
We've had that technology for decades, and frankly, it just puts people to sleep.
Yeah, the mechanism here is far more complex. When you activate Audio Overview, the system employs multiple AI models simultaneously.
Okay, how does that work?
Well, one model analyzes your uploaded documents. Let's say it's a 50-page dry report on supply chain logistics.
Sounds thrilling.
Right. It synthesizes the core arguments, identifies the most compelling examples, and then scripts a dynamic back-and-forth dialogue.
It writes a script.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And then a completely separate audio generation model takes that script and produces a hyper-realistic, two-host synthetic talk show.
That's wild.
It includes natural pacing, banter, breath sounds, moments where one host might interrupt to clarify a point and follow up questions. It transforms static text into an active, engaging auditory experience.
So it's essentially a personal radio station that broadcasts nothing but your homework or your client briefs.
That's a perfect way to describe it.
You are literally turning a mind-numbing 50-page logistics report into a morning commute talk show that fundamentally changes the workflow for someone who processes information better by listening than by reading.
And the scale and versatility of that are what caught the attention of early adopters.
Like who?
The sources mention international freelancers and content creators who realized they could upload raw research documents and generate a high-quality audio asset in under 10 minutes.
In 10 minutes? That used to take days of production.
Exactly. But the truly powerful aspect for you as a learner is the ability to steer the conversation before it ever gets generated.
Steer it how?
You can give the system overarching instructions. You can tell it, make this beginner-friendly, or focus strictly on the practical applications and skip all the historical background.
Which is brilliant, but we really need to look at how this actually plays out in the real world.
Let's do it.
Because the theory of generating custom audio from grounded sources sounds great, but when you are genuinely drowning in work, you often don't have the mental energy to play around with settings and prompts.
No, you're just looking for a lifeline.
Right. So the sources provide a really illuminating case study about a student named Priya.
Yeah, Priya's situation perfectly illustrates the psychological barrier of information overload.
Set the scene for us.
So she is a 22-year-old university student in Malaysia, hitting week 11 of her business law course.
Oof. Week 11.
Right. In any academic environment, week 11 is the danger zone.
It really is. The initial semester motivation has completely evaporated.
Burnout has fully set in, and the final exams are suddenly looming right over you.
And the sheer volume of reading she is facing is terrifying. She's dealing with 3 heavy legal textbooks, 12 weeks worth of dense lecture slides, and a massive stack of case study PDFs.
It's enough to paralyze anyone. And the core issue Priya faced wasn't a lack of intelligence, right?
Yeah.
It was executive dysfunction caused by overwhelm.
Yeah, I've been there.
Every time she sat down at her desk, she spent an hour just opening files, trying to figure out where to start, getting paralyzed by the volume, and ultimately losing focus.
The friction of simply beginning the task was insurmountable.
Exactly. So here is how she applied the tool to break that cycle.
Okay, what did she do?
She took those 12 slide decks and dropped them all into one single NotebookLM workspace.
Just dump them all in.
Yep. But the aha moment for me is that she didn't ask the AI to summarize this.
Because a summary of 12 weeks of law slides is still going to be a massive, unreadable wall of text.
Exactly. Instead, she asked one highly strategic question. She typed, "If I only have 5 days left before my exam, what are the most important topics across these slides that are likely to appear on the test?"
Oh, wow, that's smart.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, she stops using the AI as a search engine and started using it as a high-level project manager.
That's a huge distinction.
The system cross-referenced all 12 decks, identified the recurring legal themes, highlighted the concepts her professor emphasized most frequently, and synthesized a structured, actionable 5-day study plan.
It performed the triage that her exhausted brain just couldn't handle.
Exactly. It found the signal in the noise.
And then she took that curated plan a step further. Right?
He did. She utilized the audio overview feature we just talked about to generate a custom conversational audio track.
Specifically focused on the complexities of contract law from her slides.
Yep. She downloaded it to her phone and listened to it on her commute to the university.
So by the time she walked into the lecture hall for her review session, she had already absorbed the core concepts in a conversational, low-pressure format.
And she passed her exams with significantly better marks than her previous semester.
That's amazing.
But the insight she shared with her study group is the most crucial takeaway here. The tool did not magically do the learning for her.
Right, it just removed the friction. It stopped her from dreading the material by serving it up in a format her brain could actually digest when she was already mentally depleted.
It dismantled that initial wall of anxiety so she could actually engage with the legal concepts.
This raises an important question, though, and it's one we definitely have to explore deeply.
Yeah, the other side of the coin.
Right. Whenever a new technology successfully removes this much friction from the cognitive process, we have to pause and consider the unintended consequences.
We really do.
Priya's success story is undeniable. But if we make it this effortless to consume complex information, are we sacrificing genuine comprehension for the illusion of knowledge?
The skeptics are definitely raising their hands right now.
And frankly, if I put myself in the shoes of a traditional educator, I would be sweating.
Oh, they are. The concern from the academic and professional training community centers heavily on the outsourcing of comprehension.
Right, like if a student or a corporate employee can simply listen to a highly produced 10-minute synthetic talk show summarizing a 50-page chapter.
Are they actually learning the material, or are they just memorizing high-level talking points?
That's the fear.
Because the struggle of wrestling with difficult text is often where the actual neural pathways are formed. Does a tool like this actively encourage us to skip the vital, difficult work of critical reading?
I think we also have to talk about the inherent danger of the tool's greatest strength, which is the source grounding itself.
Yeah, the double-edged sword.
We often talk about the garbage in, garbage out principle in computer science, but with a tool that formats things this beautifully, it's more like garbage in, beautifully organized, highly convincing garbage out.
That is the insidious nature of the risk here. Because NotebookLM lacks the broader context of the internet, it cannot tell you when your own notes are fundamentally flawed.
Oh, that's a great point.
If you upload a set of highly disorganized lecture notes, filled with your own misunderstandings, spelling errors, and factual mistakes, the AI does not correct you.
It just takes it as fact.
It takes those errors as absolute gospel. It will confidently generate a perfectly formatted, easily digestible study guide or a professional-sounding audio track based entirely on your misconceptions.
So let's look at this from a freelancer's perspective. If I am researching a new client and I feed this tool their disorganized, outdated company website and a few, poorly written press releases,
Right.
aren't I just giving myself a massive false sense of security?
Why?
I might listen to this incredibly polished audio overview on my way to the pitch meeting,
Thinking you are fully prepared.
walk into the room, and sound incredibly confident while reciting completely inaccurate, outdated information.
You are basically automating your own mistakes at that point.
Ouch, yeah.
And beyond the factual errors, there is a profound, nuanced problem, particularly for deep, complex subjects.
Like what kind of subjects?
If you're studying literature, philosophy, or constitutional law, the entire point of the discipline is not finding a singular right answer.
It's about the gray areas.
Exactly. The point is the critical analysis of those gray areas. Some instructors argue that reducing a profound philosophical text into a simple Q&A format or a breezy, banter-filled audio conversation flattens the necessary nuance.
It turns a complex existential argument into a bulleted list of fun facts.
That's exactly the fear.
If you are using this to breeze through a dense philosophy paper, you really have to ask yourself, are you actually learning the logic, or are you just memorizing the AI's bullet points so you can sound smart in tomorrow's seminar?
You lose the struggle. And by losing the struggle, you might lose the actual education.
Because it forces complex, multidimensional thinking into a rigid, easily consumable output.
Right, it optimizes for speed, but learning often requires slowing down.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? Knowing both the incredible power of this tool to cure information overload and the very real danger of falling into the organized garbage or flattened nuance traps.
You need a strategy.
Exactly. How do you actually implement this safely? The sources provide a practical, step-by-step blueprint so you don't just create beautifully formatted mistakes.
And the methodology outlined in the best practices starts with rule number 1. Start small.
Don't upload the whole textbook.
Do not upload your entire semester's worth of reading or a massive hard drive of historical client files on your very first try.
Okay, so what should they do instead?
Find one dense chapter or one confusing research paper that you have been actively procrastinating on and upload just that. The goal is to let the tool earn your trust on a microscale.
That makes sense.
You need to verify its outputs against a text you can easily check before you build your entire professional or academic workflow around it.
Rule number 2 addresses the exact workflow you should use. Do a manual Q&A session before you ever touch that audio overview button.
Which is so important. Many users skip this step because the audio feature is just so novel and fun.
It's tempting to jump straight to the podcast.
It is. But before you ask the AI to generate a synthetic audio track, spend 10 minutes manually interrogating the document through the chat interface.
What kind of questions should you ask?
Ask NotebookLM to identify the main arguments. Ask it to list the confusing methodologies. This primes the AI's attention mechanism and helps you identify the most crucial sections of the text.
And then?
Then, when you do generate the audio, you can give it highly specific instructions on what parts of the document it should focus its conversational script on.
Rule number 3 is about digital hygiene, basically. One topic per notebook. Keep the boundaries of your workspaces tight.
Yes, compartmentalize.
Do not throw your European history notes into the same notebook as your organic chemistry slides just to keep everything in one place.
The reasoning behind that rule is deeply technical. The AI cross-references everything inside a specific notebook's context window.
Right.
If you mix vastly different subjects, the AI might hallucinate bizarre connections or synthesize analogies that make no sense, which just dilutes the quality of your answers.
So keep them separate.
By keeping the topics strictly separated, you ensure the AI's amnesia is tightly focused on only the relevant information.
And finally, rule number 4, which I think directly answers the educator's concerns about outsourcing our thinking.
This is the most important one.
Use the tool for active recall. Do not just use it to passively summarize.
Because passive reading or listening doesn't build long-term memory.
Exactly. Once you have studied a topic, use NotebookLM to aggressively test yourself.
Make it quiz you.
You can type in a prompt like, Based strictly on these sources, generate 3 highly difficult graduate-level exam questions.
Oh, I love that prompt.
Do not give me the answers until I submit my attempts, and then grade my responses based on the uploaded text.
See, that transforms the AI from a machine that thinks for you into a machine that forces you to think.
It becomes a tireless sparring partner.
Yes. The friction it removes should be the administrative friction of formatting, organizing, and finding the relevant text.
Not the cognitive friction of actually understanding the concepts. It is a tool designed to break down the wall of anxiety so you can get to the real work, not a magic button that does the work for you.
Perfectly said.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I want you to look at your own desk or your own digital workspace. Think about the last time you faced a wall of difficult material.
That topic that just made you want to close your laptop and walk away.
Exactly. I challenge you to run an experiment this week. Take that exact material, upload it to NotebookLM, and see if it breaks the wall down.
Treat the AI as a project manager.
Or listen to a custom audio track on your commute. Just see if it changes your relationship with that intimidating information.
And as you run that experiment, I want to leave you with one final, slightly provocative thought to mull over.
Hit me.
Throughout this entire discussion, we've focused almost entirely on utilitarian uploads. Your own notes, modern textbooks, client briefs.
Things you have to study for a deadline.
Right. But consider the architectural implications of a tool that perfectly grounds an AI in the exact words of the text provided. Imagine the possibilities if you stepped outside of just homework.
What do you mean? Like creative applications?
Exactly. What if you took the translated private journals of 2 famous historical figures who lived centuries apart?
Okay.
Let's say the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius and the Personal Diaries of Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, wow.
Both men carried the weight of massive empires during times of brutal war, but they approached leadership from vastly different philosophical backgrounds.
Right.
If you uploaded both of those texts into a single notebook and used the audio overview to generate a conversational debate between their underlying philosophy,
Because the AI is perfectly grounded.
it would be grounded in their actual historical words. It wouldn't be guessing how they might interact. It would be synthesizing their direct, documented thoughts into a modern dialogue.
That is genuinely mind-bending.
What kind of impossible cross-century conversations could you listen to?
You could essentially curate historical dinner parties in your headphones, where the guests are forced to only speak based on the letters they actually wrote.
That takes it from a study tool to a completely new medium for exploring history.
It really does. The boundaries of how we interact with the written word and how we extract meaning from the past are just completely shifting.
It's no longer just about reading the text, it's about conversing with it.
I am absolutely trying that Marcus Aurelius and Lincoln experiment this weekend.
Let me know how it goes.
I will. Well, on that thought, we are going to wrap things up. Thank you for joining us as we explored the sources and for wading into the fascinating, sometimes murky waters of how we learn in the age of AI.
It's a brave new world out there.
Keep experimenting, keep pushing back on the tools you use, and we will see you next time.
That's it for today's episode. If this helped, subscribe. New episodes every week. Drop a comment. I read all of them. Links are in the description. See you next one.